there is no safe route to wealth. You're only saving yourself to your bondage of slavery and forever work. So we are programmed to believe that, what are some of the biggest things that we believe that our parents told us, that society told us when it comes to money, right? Get a job, go to school, get a job, get a pension, get a 401k, get a high interest savings account, work for 40 years, save your money, right? And then that's the way to the good life, right? But you guys have to look at it this way, right? The average person at retirement, right, depending on how much they earn over their career, let's say you make even $100,000, right, consistently. That's like the average, let's say at age 30, you start making $100,000 a year, right? By the time you're 60, you might have $1 million, right? You might have 800,000, 900,000, or $1 million, right? But you still don't realize that your biggest asset wasn't the contributions, wasn't the free money that you're getting from your job. It's the 30 years that you could have had, or 20 years or 25 years that you could have had to be free, to explore life, to enjoy life, right? So I'm gonna dissect a little bit like how to kind of deprogram yourself from this belief system and give you some alternatives, right? Because I think all of us have different values, different goals for what we want, and there's different strategic financial plans that can benefit different people, right? So let's say, for example, right, like you're a single guy or a single girl or whatever, right? You don't really care too much to have a family. Maybe you want to be in like a relationship, but you really value your freedom. You really value exploring, different things. You really value creativity. You really value, just being free, right? Just being able to be free, right? Like just not having to deal with stress from just pointless shit, right? I know a lot of guys right now, right? They're especially on YouTube. You can probably find these guys, right? They're living in other countries. They're living in Thailand. They're living in Colombia. They're living in fuck knows where, Mexico, right? Like they're living in countries and living off of dividends. They're living off of passive income. They're living off of money, right, that they've created through some form of online income, right? Whether it's their online business, or maybe they're just like day traders or swing traders. Like, so listen, I'm not saying that you need to be a day trader, swing trader, or a internet online business individual, right? But guys, you can certainly live, like, let's say, for example, right, I'm just giving you guys some things to consider. Let's say in like a bull run, right? Because we have, guys, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but crypto is going to the moon, right? Bitcoin's at like what, 118, 119, 120, and it's only going to go up, especially in Q4 of this year. So let's just say, for example, right, you've been passively investing into crypto, into Ethereum, into Solana for the past 3 years, right? You got in at a good price, you got in at the bottom. Now this Q4, right, let's say you pull out, let's say your portfolio shoots up to like 400 or 500,000, $500,000, right? You pull out a quarter of that, 120, right? So right now, if you're in the US, let's say your living expenses, with whether you have a house or rent, you got a car, let's say your living expenses amount to, what's the average? Like 2,500 to 3,000. Bro, if you're single, right, and you want to live a free kind of like digital nomad sort of lifestyle, bro, what are you doing here? Like, I mean, I'm in a relationship, and, I enjoy what I do, for the most part. I don't like work, but I'm okay with work, right? Like, I'm not one of these guys who, like, needs to not work, right? Like, I'm okay with it for the period of time, obviously not forever. But bro, if you're someone in your mid-20s or maybe even late 20s, early 30s, right? And you're making, $50,000 a year, right? Having to work for someone you don't fucking like, having to go somewhere that serves zero value to you, that you just don't care about, right? Like most of us. I bet if you asked anyone if they like that, I bet if you asked 85% of people, if you ask them if you could choose to work or not work, would you work? I guarantee at least 75% of them would say no, I wouldn't want to work. So anyways, back to my point. bro, if you are able to live, like, because some of these countries you can live on like $1,000 a month, right? You literally just cut your monthly expense into you just cut it by like a quarter, right? Or like 33%. So now instead of you having to slave away, right, 40 50 hours a week for a stupid ass 401k, right, for free money, like everyone's fucking conditioned to believe, right? Free money. You got to ask yourself too, before I go on, when we talk about 401ks, right, because that's typically like what everyone's retirement plan is encompasses, right? Okay, free money, you're getting free money, right? But like, you're not even getting the amount of free money that would change your life. You guys have to start looking at money not as a safety net, not as like a shit hits the fan tool, right? Because that's what a lot of people have. A lot of people have a fear mentality as it pertains to money. You guys have to start looking at money like, okay, look, how can this enhance the quality and living standards of my life? When you operate from that perspective, right? When you operate from that mindset, you'll look at like the current system and how we operate and how we set up our retirement plans, how we set up our careers, and you'll look at our lifestyles and you'll look and be like, damn, this is all a scam, right? So like I said, you know, if you're able, let's say you were able to grab 120 out of this Q4 bull cycle, right? And you're able to go to, I don't know where the hell you would want to go, anywhere but work 50 hours a week in America and deal with corporate bullshit. You can go anywhere. You can go to Colombia, you can go to Thailand, you can go to Mexico. Obviously, you got to pay for the passport. You can go to the Philippines. I know a lot of guys who go there. But there's plenty of countries, right? There's plenty of countries that have cheap living, right? It's an easier way of life. And you don't have to deal with the fucking nonsense that we're all dealing with in this corporate crazy world that we call corporate America, right? So, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, if you want a deeper exploration into life, if you're more of like a person who wants to experience, you know, the deeper facets of reality, like consciousness and spirituality, then you have to set yourself up to be able to do that, right? Because I know a lot of guys who, you know, they go to these other countries to do psychedelics, or they go to meditate and just, again, live a free life. We're all, in a way, we're all seeking that freedom. I don't know if you realize it or not, right? But everything in life, right, is seeking freedom. Everything in life, especially humans, why do we want money, right? We want money so that one day, right, we tell ourselves we want money so that we can be rich and flex on others, and, you know, kind of like grandiose, like, how do I say, like, push ourselves up. We want to like look good to other people, right? But what if I told you the real reason why we want money is for freedom? The real reason we want money is for God, right? We want money so that we can spend our time being in peace, being in stillness, being like I am right now in nature, right? So, you know, and going back to my example, it's like, you know, that guy, let's say he takes 120 out, right? He's living off $1,000. Do you know how many years that buys you? Because look, right, let's say, okay, you take 120 out, you're still living in America. You're still paying $3,000 a month. $3,000 a month, I'm just using for number's sake, that's what, $36,000 a year? So $120,000, let's say you quit your job, right? That'll last you 36 times, that'll last you like 3.5 years. You go to a place where you can live on $1,000, that 120 that you used, right? Or that you took out, that money can last you, let's see, 12,000 times what? That money will last you 10 years. You guys see what I'm trying to get at here? And again, if you reinvest that money, right? If you reinvest even 30, 40 of it for the next bull cycle, you can multiply your gains and prolong your freedom. You can prolong the amount of time, and I'm sure you guys will figure out ways to make money. You guys will figure out ways to start up a business, or figure out a way to monetize yourself, right? So guys, like the creativity and the unlimited opportunity and potential that we have as human beings is just that. It's unlimited. So again, I don't want you guys to, look at me and try to like, be like, who the fuck is this guy? Who is this guy? What is he talking about? I'm telling you, you guys don't have to deal with this shit in corporate America. You go, you get a passport, right? Now, obviously, if you don't have the money, well, then that's a different story. But you want to really consider, right? Do I want to stay here? And again, you can always come back, but if you find that, hey, you like being a digital nomad, and I'm sure you guys will love it, right? Like, I don't know any person who's been a digital nomad who says, yeah, man, I want to go back to America and live like a fucking 50-hour week lifestyle, slaving away for people that don't give a shit about me and just care about their bottom line, right? So, and again, that's one option. And that's just, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to have a degree to do that. It's very simple. Now, obviously, you need to have some planning, right? But it's like, hey, instead of retiring at 60, you can retire at 25 or 30, right? Metaphorically speaking, you can just do your own thing and be your own person, right? You don't have to fucking deal with this shit, right? And whatever you want to do with your time is whatever you want to do with your time, right? I'm not going to tell you what to do. But if you're living in America, I think the best asset to aspire to acquire is real estate, because that is something that will, certain deals you get, you can cash flow like $1,500 a month, depending on where you buy, right? What market? Obviously the market depends, right? It depends what market, the price of the house or the unit or whatever you're investing in. But if you're in America and you want to have like a relationship and a family, I think real estate over time is something that's going to allow you to do that, right? Because it's just so expensive, it's just so expensive to live here that you need some form of passive income that is substantial, right? To be able to put up with all the expenses that you have in a first world country like the United States. So, is that for everybody? No, but I'm giving you guys a couple options so that you can consider, hey, what do I want to pursue, right? Like, if you're at your job right now and you fucking hate it, don't quit. Look at it like this. How can I plan the next 5 years so that I can invest my money over time so that my escape plan is established and I can leave, right? So that's what I'm doing, right? I mean, I don't want to sit here and lie to you guys. I don't want to work forever, right? I don't want to work a fucking job and do the same things over and over again, talk about the same things, talk about the same little different processes, and have the same conversations with employees that don't get it, that will continue to not get it. Like, that's a waste of life. That's a waste of your potential. There's a lot more to explore in this infinite realm of possibilities that we call life. So again, you have to do the math. You have to plan. You have to look at your expenses, look at how much, look at side hustles, right? Like, if you can't make money right now, what are some side hustles you can do? What's a second job you can do, right? And even if it's 2 to 3 years, would you rather this, right? I'd rather do this. I'd rather sacrifice 2 to 3 years working 60 to 80 hours a week and be able to leave my job in 4 years than work 40 hours a week for 30 years and then live for 20 years and then be able to just experience life for 20 to 30 years if I make it, right? If I make it to fucking 90 or 80, right? So again, guys, like, it's a big scam. It's a big, the whole corporate shit is a fucking scam, right? It's to keep you, the only people that really benefit from it are the people at the top. Because if you make, like, let's say, because like typically people in corporate, they make a lot of money, right? Let's say you make between 150 and like 400,000 a year. Now, okay, you have the income to be able to buy yourself out of your position, right, with real estate and other assets. But most people are fucking stupid, right? These corporate people, a lot of them are psychomaniacs, right? They like to have power over people. They like feeling like they're important. They like being able to buy cars. They like being able to flex in front of other people. They like being able to talk about what they do for work and shit like that. But in reality, it's like, that's a fucking ego trap. That's an ego trap that's keeping you stuck, right? Imagine if you could just not have to do that shit forever. Wouldn't you rather do that? I don't know. I would prefer to be on my own and just be myself and control what I do. And so would a lot of people, right? And I'm telling you, there's ways to do it. You just have to plan for it. You have to make sacrifices, and you have to commit and say to yourself, yes, okay, for the next 2 to 3 years, right? I'm not gonna really have too much fun. I'm gonna put my head down. I'm gonna do what I need to do so that I can leave, right? So anyways, guys, I'm not gonna hold you guys too long. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as always, I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.